Hello and welcome to the Listening Post's unboxing channel on YouTube. Today I'm unboxing a brand new pair of floor standing speakers from PSB, the Imagine T65s. These are the larger of the range. There's two floor standing speakers. The T54, which is up here, unboxing. In fact, these will be black. If you want to see white, please check out the alternative unboxing. PSB, Paul and Susan Barton. They've been doing this for a very, very long period of time. In fact, behind me are their 50-year celebration speakers, which is a redesigned, reimagining of some of their original work. It's absolutely stunning. They sound amazing, by the way. It's just amazing. The Imagine series is designed as sort of in not their really budget range, but in that mid-5 point, which is so aggressive, with so many speakers touting their wares in that price point and implying a quality set well beyond their price. Will this pair deliver on that promise? The T65s are absolutely stunning. They get down to something like 28 Hertz from a floor standing speaker in a budget price point. There'll be two colorways, white and black, as I implied. Look, as always, speakers of this size are shipped in two large cartons. They're both identical from a packaging perspective. So before we continue, let's get rid of that one. Oh! And concentrate on just one of them. So, speakers. PSB. Their packaging is very, very modest as far as the shoutiness that you might see from these full colour things designed for the chain stores to grab people's attention. These are functional as far as delivering the speaker in one piece to you. We see a basic sort of PSB logo and the Imagine T65s, designed and engineered in Canada and of course made in China. There's shipping information and other things along those lines, and then just on the end, serial number information, scannable associated with both the serial number, model number and other things along those lines. These are sealed closed with traditional packing tape, so very, very straightforward to get into. A simple slide of a knife, and a few nicks here or there, and we're in. What PSB have invested in is a double box. So you will see the first sort of, well, not colourful, but descriptive layer is replaced with a very blank brown carton. That carton, of course, ensures that there's another layer of protection. You'd be surprised how many times we see things that have had a forklift just scrape just through that first layer and impervious as far as that second. With these larger speakers, we always recommend that you take the box off the speaker rather than trying to take the speaker out of the box. And it's particularly apparent with the very large ones like these. So the first sort of step is to just fold all that cardboard so that it's somewhat out of the way. We see in the box, let me just pause for a second, okay? We see a desiccant bag to keep things dry. We see a very basic setup guide associated with the two floor standing speakers and, among other things, how to put the spikes and other things you'll see. There is a centrally located polystyrene piece that holds the grill in place, and that's the first thing when you're unboxing you want to just sort of get out of the road. And then, carefully folding things out of the road, you roll the box, lifting it, and hopefully that in the carton as well. There we go. So, up out of the road. You'll see there's nothing in there other than the thing. Get rid of that. It's very straightforward. You see the other half of that moulded polystyrene that supports the middle of the box, and a couple of those desiccant bags and related things to keep things dry. The speaker has two moulded ends for polystyrene, and if I spin this round for a second, you'll see that one end holds all of the accessories. Getting those accessories out is relatively straightforward, but as part of the process, at this point I typically recommend that, okay, that's the bottom. You can see the bottom because it's got a cutout associated with the outrigger feet. So it's got these steel outrigger feet. You'll see them, and please as always hang around for the photographs. There's a screw and a spike that go into those outrigger feet, but the outrigger feet themselves are factory fitted, yes. So at this point, slide that off and lay it down on the outrigger feet. What it does is it gives you easy access to the accessories that you'll need in a moment. For the purposes of today, if you want to see, look, later on we'll take some close-ups of all of those things, but right now we'll get rid of them. There is the grill, and it's clearly labelled PSB Imagine T65. Opening that's very straightforward. It's sealed closed, but to avoid any risk associated with running your craft knife down and potentially cutting that grill, I'd always sort of recommend that you remove first the polystyrene that holds things centrally, and then slide that grill out. Okay, get rid of that. Now the grill itself is in its own little plastic bag, and it is sealed with a couple of pieces of sellotape. There's a desiccant bag and some other things like that that we'll just leave in and get rid of. So the grill has, it's acoustically transparent, and this fabric is black. We'll see that there's cutaways associated with the main bass drivers and the mid-range. And the magnets, by the way, have, actually I'll go grab it, they have little pads on them to ensure that although this is a magnetic grill to stick on the front, the pads stop any potential chatter and any potential rub marks or something associated with the grill. You know, the drive unit's moving, it's creating microscopic vibrations, and the grill's going to sort of move around just ever so slightly. To avoid any marks or scratches from the magnets, they've added a little pad, and it's great to see that they've done that in such a budget product. So moving the cloth bag at this point, so that's sort of one of those sort of polished cloth bags. So the easiest is to do exactly what I've done, is to sort of lift and rock the bag off the speaker, and then lift it along with the last piece of polystyrene. Once it's on these sort of outrigger feet, it's extremely stable, and you can move it around as I'm doing just by sort of walking it. So remove that last piece of moulded polystyrene, get rid of it, and then slide the bag off. That's where we get to see the design and engineering that PSB have gone to with this brilliant speaker. Again, it's really good value, yet the speaker produces such prestigious bass, control of the mid-range, everything like that effortlessly. And it's a combination of all of the R&D that they've done for some of them way more expensive speakers, trickling down into these compact, budget competitive price speakers. The first thing we see is the mid-range tweeter and dual bass drivers, but they've got a little trick. The two bass drivers, so these are 6.5 inch, they're running in parallel, but to tune that bass perfectly, PSB have invested in a dual box design for the bass. So the bass drivers themselves are tuned and ported separately, and it's brilliant to see that additional attention to detail in such a competitively priced speaker. The tweeter is a 1-inch dome titanium tweeter, and the mid-range is 5.25 inch mid-range. It's a pressed carbon fibre composite material for the bass and mid-range, and you'll see just how easily it moves, how rigid and how beautifully made they are as far as their effortlessness and responsiveness. The mid-range driver has a bullet-shaped dust cap, and that's to ensure that there's no potential for phase or noding or anything along those lines with the man-made drivers that they're utilising. Down below, before we forget, we have the centrally located PSB logo, and like the rest of it with that sort of black and silver sort of design, they've opted for a very simple silver badge as well. Tilting it forward, I hope you see some of the design elements, and that relates to cabinet and building upon rigidity of that cabinet, but it also adds a significant amount to the decay associated with any reflection off that cabinet. These little design things you might just look past and think, oh yeah, that looks right. Well, these are all little things that PSB have worked and engineered and are indeed towards the ultimate, or if not perfection, in its price. The cabinets themselves aren't very deep, and because of the physical size of the speaker, they can have a lot more control over the bass tuning and things associated with it. But the trick is when you see it at the back. What PSB have done, they've kept the back of it beautifully simple, but they've added not one but two separate ports. Now these are slot ports to ensure that the chuffing or woodwind instrument effects that commonly happen with a traditional round port are absolutely eliminated. It's this beautiful decay. Of course it needs to breathe, associated with the dynamics and the bass and other things along those lines, but being able to ensure that they've eliminated that port chuffing means that the speaker can potentially be pushed up against a wall, or a little bit closer perhaps, or run at volumes that might often cause some sort of distortion or feedback in a room. In between the two ports we see the PSB logo, the Imagine series, and the T65, all in this little wee aluminium stick-on. Then a four-way binding post it's a five-way binding post with 4 connections, allowing you to single wire, bi-wire, or bi-amp and bi-wire should you choose, obviously with removing the bridging clips. Lastly, we've got scannable information associated with the serial number, which again emulates that on the box. Now for those that want to see the unboxing a little bit more detailed, we've got some photographs at the end of this video, so please hang around, along with the accessories, and I'll fit the spikes and all of those types of things. Nevertheless, these are 8 ohms, they're about 90 dB efficient, they have a rated power of between 20 and 200 watts, and trust me, they sound absolutely stunning. 80 watts is probably the minimum I would recommend as far as getting the most out of these speakers, but they sound awesome at a relatively low wattage and stunning when you power them properly. So there we have it. PSB's brand new T65 in their Imagine series, their Imagine T65 Floorstanding speakers, unboxed here at the Listening Post in Christchurch, New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe to our channel.